At the beginning of the movie, we see a man, covered in blood, walking into a pawn shop. He's carrying a creepy little monkey toy with him. This man is Captain Shelburne, and the toy he brings is one of those wind-up monkeys that sits and plays drums with two sticks. The shop owner is, of course, concerned about all the blood, but Captain Shelburne assures him, "Relax, it's not my blood." The shopkeeper checks out the monkey but refuses to buy it, saying it's broken. One of the monkey's arms is stuck raised. That's when Shelburne gives a chilling warning. Be thankful its hand is raised and it's not drumming, because when it drums, someone dies. And boom! Right as he says that, the monkey starts drumming. At the same time, we see a rat chewing on a rope, triggering a trap that launches an arrow. It shoots the shopkeeper straight in the stomach, and in a gruesome moment, the arrow retracts, dragging out a long strip of his internal organs. Just like that, the shopkeeper is dead. Captain Shelburne realizes how dangerous this toy really is. He sets it on fire, hoping to destroy it completely. And at the end of the scene, he says something chilling. "I'm leaving a big problem behind for my sons." Yep, you guessed it, the monkey. Now the story shifts to 1999. We meet two teenage twins, Hal and Bill, living with their mom. These boys are Captain Shelburne's sons. They're around 14 or 15, and we learn that their dad left them a long time ago, just vanished one day after going out for cigarettes. But as viewers, we kinda know what really happened to him. Though Hal and Bill are twins, Bill is 3 minutes older and never lets Hal forget it. He even bullies Hal now and then. Their mom stays busy with her personal life, so the boys mostly hang out together. One day, they're exploring their dad's old closet when they find his pilot uniform and a big, mysterious box. Inside it is that same creepy monkey toy. The box has a message written on it. "Wind me up and see what happens." The kids, curious and excited, decide to give it a go. Hal winds the monkey, but nothing happens. It doesn't move. Thinking it's broken, Hal puts it back in the box. Later that day, Hal, Bill, and their babysitter Annie head to a live cooking restaurant. But just before they leave, Hal notices something strange. The monkey toy is now sitting in the car. He wonders how it got there but brushes it off. At the restaurant, everything's going fine. Bill, by the way, has a crush on the babysitter and is trying to impress her. They're watching the chef cook live when Hal suddenly hears the monkey's drumming sound, the same monkey they supposedly left in the car. At that exact moment, the chef slips with his knife, and the blade accidentally slices into Annie. She dies on the spot. It's horrifying, and Hal knows. It's because he wound the monkey earlier. Their mom comforts them afterward, telling them, "That's life. Death can come at any time. Nobody knows when." She tries to stay calm for them, but Hal's mind is racing. Later, Hal confronts the monkey, asking if it really caused Annie's death. But before he can think too much, Bill walks in, bullies Hal again, and forces him to say awful things out loud. The next day at school, some girls bully Hal. Why? Because Bill told everyone about the creepy monkey story, and now everyone's mocking him. Upset and angry, Hal goes home and heads straight to his room. While his mom is downstairs making dinner, Hal winds the monkey again, in a fit of rage, and says, "Please take Bill this time." But Hal didn't really mean it. He was just mad. The monkey starts drumming again. Meanwhile, Bill arrives home and goes to talk to their mom. But suddenly, blood starts pouring from her ears and she collapses. She's dead. Yes, the monkey didn't go after Bill. It took their mom instead. The doctors call it a rare brain hemorrhage. But Hal knows the truth. He caused this. Shaken, Hal tries to destroy the monkey. He breaks it into pieces and throws it in the trash. But the monkey finds its way back on its own. Once the monkey marks you, it doesn't let go. Bill is devastated by their mom's death. He refuses to take off his funeral clothes, terrified that something else might happen. And honestly, these kids are now orphans. Their uncle and aunt decide to take them in and bring them to Maine. There, Hal confesses everything to Bill, how he wound up the monkey and wished for Bill's death, but it ended up killing their mom instead. Naturally, Bill doesn't believe any of it, so he challenges Hal. "Okay, wind it up again? Let's test it." They do. And the very next day, their uncle dies in a freak accident during a hunting trip. He gets trampled by wild horses. Now both brothers realize the monkey is real, and it's deadly. Determined to stop it, they lock the monkey in its box, wrap it in chains, and bury it in a cave near their aunt's house, hoping no one else ever finds it. Now we jump to present day, 25 years later. Hal is working at a store. He has no contact with Bill and doesn't even want to know where he is. Why? Because he's scared the monkey might trace them again. Hal asks his manager for 2 days off. He wants to visit his son. Turns out Hal is divorced, and his ex-wife lives with her new husband. Hal visits his son Pete once a week. But this time, when he goes to see Pete, he gets shocking news. His ex-wife and her new husband are filing for full custody. Hal might never see his son again. And this was Hal's final week with his son, Pete. It was an emotional time for him. So, Father and son decide to take a road trip together. They stop at a motel for the night, and that's when Pete starts asking his dad about their family, like whether he had any siblings. Hal lies and says, "No, I was an only child." Meanwhile, in the town of Maine, we cut to Aunt Ida, who's sitting alone at home. She starts hearing strange noises around the house. Now remember, she lives alone, so naturally, she grabs a gun and starts searching to make sure no one's broken in. She even steps outside to check, and we get a glimpse of something mysterious, though it's not clear if she saw it. Once she's sure everything's okay, she heads upstairs. But suddenly, we hear the sound of a monkey toy's drum beating. At that exact moment, the old wooden stairs collapse beneath her, and Aunt Ida falls hard. She's seriously injured, but thankfully, she survives. Struggling, she goes to the mirror and starts removing debris from her wounds. But then, she smells gas coming from the kitchen. As she heads over to check it out, a spark ignites, and her head catches fire. She rushes outside in panic, but her leg gets caught in something. While trying to escape, she crashes into a billboard and goes down. Back at the motel, Hal has a terrifying nightmare. In it, he sees his evil monkey playing with him. He wakes up in a panic. Right then, he gets a phone call from his brother Bill, the first one in years. Bill warns him that the cursed monkey toy is back, and it's after their family. This leads to an argument between the brothers about who's going to find and stop the toy. Suddenly, there's a short circuit in the motel's air conditioner. The wires snap and fall directly into the swimming pool, electrifying the water. A girl dives in, and the shock is so intense that she dies instantly, torn apart by the current. Witnessing this, Hal realizes just how dangerous the monkey is. The very mention of it is triggering chaos. Fearing for his son's safety, he decides to take Pete back home. But Pete wants to visit his dad's hometown, Aunt Ida's place. Reluctantly, Hal agrees. Meanwhile, back in the town, some of Aunt Ida's belongings are being auctioned off after her death. That's when a kid named Ricky buys the monkey toy. We even get a flashback where Ricky remembers his dad. His mom, however, claims that his father was a terrible person, involved in shady affairs with other women. Hal and Pete finally arrive in town and meet Agent Barbara, who informs them about a string of mysterious deaths happening there. Sometimes one person dies, sometimes two, or even 5 in a day, all of them called accidents. Pete starts piecing things together and realizes his dad had a twin brother, something Hal had denied earlier. Barbara shows Hal a storage room, and he asks if anyone saw a monkey toy during the auction. Barbara can't recall clearly, but as she opens the storeroom, a shotgun rigged inside fires off, and yes, it kills her instantly. We then hear the sound of the cursed monkey drum from inside. It's back, and it's after Hal and Bill's family. That night, police arrive and tell everyone to stay in town. We also see a group of carefree hippies partying outside. Hal tries calling Bill again. He's certain Bill is in town, but refusing to meet. Over the phone, Hal basically threatens him to come forward. Here comes the big twist. Bill is in town, and he has the monkey toy. Remember Ricky bought the toy at the auction? Well, he eventually sold it to Bill, and ever since, all the horrifying accidents in town have been happening because of Bill. He'd set traps in his home, planning to lure Hal in and kill him. Why? Because Bill still blames Hal for the death of their mother and the babysitter, Annie. See, the monkey had activated only when Hal turned the key, and that's when the deaths began. Years ago, when they threw the monkey into the cave, Bill secretly went back in to retrieve it. He only found the wind-up key, but from that day, he was obsessed with finding the monkey again. And now that he had it, he was using it for revenge. Ricky comes back, asking Bill to return the toy, because it reminds him of his dad, who gave him a similar toy when he was a kid, but Bill refuses. Later, Ricky sees Hal and Pete at Aunt Ida's house. He grabs a gun, breaks in, and takes them hostage. He forces Pete to go retrieve the monkey from Bill's hideout. Before sending him in, Hal repeatedly warns him, "No matter what, don't wind up that monkey." Pete enters the house, careful not to trigger any traps. He's smart and manages to reach Bill without getting caught. Bill tells him to wind the monkey, and Pete does. Meanwhile, outside, Ricky accidentally fires the gun. The shot misses him but hits a nearby beehive. Angered bees swarm into the car through a broken window, and Ricky, quite literally, chokes to death from bees entering his mouth. Yep, the monkey's curse strikes again. Back inside, Pete is alone with Bill. Hal arrives soon after, and another trap is triggered. When Bill hears Hal's voice, he panics and, instead of using the key, starts forcing the monkey's hands up and down manually, trying to make it play. Its face begins to shift unnaturally. Then comes the emotional moment. Hal explains that he never meant to hurt anyone. Their mother was his mom too, and Annie's death was an accident. The brothers finally talk it out and start letting go of their years of resentment. Just as they're about to leave, the monkey begins to play on its own. The drumming grows more violent, so much so that the ceiling of Bill's house starts to collapse. Remember that trap inside? It activates again, and a cannonball hits Bill, killing him on the spot. Things go absolutely apocalyptic from there. Planes crash from the sky. The entire town descends into chaos. One by one, people die in bizarre ways. Finally, at sunrise, Hal and Pete drive away from the destroyed town, and in the back seat sits that same monkey toy. In the end, the monkey isn't just about a cursed toy. It's about death as an unstoppable force, something you can't reason with or control. The monkey doesn't follow commands. It doesn't care who you love or hate. Once it starts, someone is going to die, and you don't get to choose who. Bill tried to bend death to his will and paid the price. His hatred blinded him, and others suffered for it. Hal, on the other hand, spent his whole life running from loss, only to realize he was losing everything anyway. But in the final moment, he chooses to live, not for fear of death, but despite it, because death is inevitable. But life is a choice. So, until that final drum beat, keep dancing. If this breakdown gave you chills, drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more dark tales and hidden meanings. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.